about 15,000, right? So the forecast is it's going to be about 4.5 million users, within 3 years across North America. It's really expanding rapidly. Vancouver now has 3 competing car share companies, including the Car2Go. These little smart cars called Car2Go parked all over the place. You can dump them anywhere you want. The GPS says where they are. You go online, find out where they are. You have the key, drive it off, go wherever you want. You get a bill on your credit card end of the month. And they're really being used a lot. Anyway, any smart car drivers here, as well as ourselves? You can. In Victoria, we have special smart car parking spots that are this big.
So these are gasoline powered?
These are all gasoline. Well, they could be electric as well. We're coming to electric.
Yeah, they should be electric.
Yeah, now Car2Go has started its first electric smart cars in Vancouver, just right now. This is relay rides. This is peer-to-peer car sharing, where you put your own car in the car share pool and rent it out to your friends and neighbors. So here, this is $7 a day, $7 an hour to rent a local VW, Beetle. There's a Tesla in San Francisco, the electric car, which is about $30, more expensive. And owners can earn up to $300 a month by putting your car in the pool. But all the normal hassle, like who pays for insurance, who pays for gas, all that stuff is covered by the car sharing agreement when you buy into relay rides and become a member. So it's standardized for a car user. And the average shared car takes 14 other cars off the roads. Now, a person sharing a car is using cycling and walking and transit for the other trips because they're looking at their costing more carefully. They're not owning a car. And Ford, GM and Toyota all say that car sharing is in the future of driving, and they're wiring their future vehicles for the technology to make car sharing easy. So it's just automatically in the software. So is it possible that we could do 5%, get the cars off the roads by car sharing? Hands up, yes. That's pretty good. Hands up for maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And hands up for no, it's not possible. So everyone's, okay. Then we're moving on to the next step, which is intermodal connections. This is a bit of a no-brainer. If we're doing all this stuff, you have the idea that you have a single card that gets you onto transit, LRT, car sharing, ride sharing, bike sharing, the ferries, railway, whatever it is, with really good connections. So when you get to the bus station, there's a train bus connection, they meet. There's good bicycle parking. They're all connected, these things. In London right now, if you get an Oyster card, you can use it on the underground and on the railways and on the bus system. All in one card. You charge it up in advance, and it's just flick the card, electronic, off you go. Really easy. And I don't know if it's done for road pricing as well. For when you enter the central London, you've got to pay more. It's probably also Oyster card. And imagine on your smartphone, you can take car share, rail, walk, bike, ski lift, taxi, and immediately get the information you want to know where you're going. So wherever you are, you can find, here's the nearest car share, there's the nearest bike share, that's the nearest bus station, the bus time comes this, the train goes there, and you press, I'm going to Kamloops, and it'll give you 3 options of getting there, all super quick within half a minute. So that's a bit of a no-brainer. I mean, anyone believe that it's possible? Yes, we could get in decent intermodal connections? Yeah? Anyone think, no, it's completely impossible, we can't do that? Yeah. And how many maybes, maybe we can do that? Yeah, well, there's 3 or 4 maybes. Smart growth is the next important thing. So we stop building the sprawl of scattered over, grab a hill, pave it with houses. So you can take a regular street like that with no provision for walking on it and turn it into that. This is a brand new subdivision. But look at the styling of it. Look at the traffic, the slow, that's 1 car's width. Every car has to go down to 5 miles an hour to get around that beautiful tree. All the houses are face onto the streets. There's relationships. The joke with this kind of housing, Andres Duaney, who did a lot of smart growth, said, when you're living in a suburb like this, how do you know which house you live in? And the answer is, you're coming over from work. You drive down the road, clicking your garage opener, until you get to the one that works. So this is another retrofitted street. Instead of the normal lanes, you've got just 2 narrow lanes. You've got all stuff built in. This is an area plan in Missouri for a new, shopping mall plus more housing area with shops below. Here are the shops. This is the shopping mall. It's individual shops now instead of the great mall city. This is a brand new. I came across this just last week in Portugal, happening right now. A regular street like that turned into this. It won awards. That's why I heard about it. So this is all just painted on the sidewalk. and marked, and there's trees planted there and there, which are going to grow into great big shadowy ones, and they become beautiful. That's how you can transform, a street, to bring it back to human scale. So smart growth, I know it's political, I know it depends on developers and council, but is it possible that we could get Kamloops' development laws changed to get more smart growth instead of sprawl? Hands up for yes. Good. Hands up, so maybe we could do this. Maybe. You're 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and how much say no, hell will freeze over before we ever get Kamloops councillors to agree with that? Hey, look. Hey.
I hope it has.
And hell's not going to freeze over, of course, because we're warming and not freezing. Wrong metaphor, right? Then step number 9, that half the remaining, we got our trips down to 50% now, that half the remaining vehicles are plug-in hybrid electrics, meaning you've got the potential, you've got a battery, electric battery, and you've got a tank of gas as well. So if you want to drive the Coca-Cola, you can do that on the gas and still use the electric for all other stuff. So the average experience with a hybrid is that 80% of the average mile is on electric. How many hybrid owners? Anyone Prius owners or Volt owners here? We had a Volt owner last night in Okanagan. So this is the Chevy Volt. I had a colleague in Seattle who did 2,500 kilometers on one tank of gas, because all his mileage was on the electric, and he didn't do the long trips often. This Volkswagen will go 750 kilometers on one cell phone ring. It's amazing, right? This is the 1 liter Volkswagen. It's a diesel plug-in hybrid, and so they'll go 75 kilometers on the battery. But when it's on gasoline, 300 miles per gallon Canadian, which is 400 kilometers per gallon, whatever that turns to liters, like phenomenal. Because it only weighs 795 kilograms, it weighs a third of what a normal car does. So it's got a third of the mass. It can go 3 times more efficient. So could we get, this is by 2030, remember, with hybrid electric vehicles becoming more normalized and spread in the market, could we get half of our vehicles being hybrid electric by 2030? But yes? Yeah, maybe, hands up, about equal, and no, not possible. So it's kind of like 60-40 between yes and maybe on that one. Then finally, we're now down to 30% because of the 80% factor. Can we get all the remaining vehicles full electric? So that, this assumes improvement in batteries and battery charging processes. Because right now you couldn't do that because you couldn't drive the Coca-Cola on an electric vehicle. You just run out, and everyone would run out at the same time, and you'd be stuck, right?
It's happening.
On the Coca-Cola?
Yep.
For recharging?
Yeah, no, well, you can recharge in Merritt, you can recharge in home.
Yeah, but when we came up here in the Coca-Cola, I was thinking, if that was an electric car, and I got 100 vehicles a minute passing, and they're all stopping to recharge halfway, right?
What about induction charge?
Exactly. That's the kind of change. If you imagine you can have induction charging in the road, or batteries that now, the Tesla, I'll come to, has got a 300 kilometer battery range.
480.
480, maybe I'm going on miles, not kilometers, right?
There's actually an e-race.
I'll come to the
across
Tesla.
Canada right now.
Okay, so, yes?
I was just wondering how you deal with the dilemma of those vehicles that are hauling large.
I'll come to that. Yeah, the big vehicles is another issue. So at the low end of the price range, electric vehicles. This is the Renault Twizy, the fastest selling electric vehicle in France. Costs you $10,000, and it's a 2-seater, 100 kilometer range, top speed 80 kilometers an hour. So it's not really designed for highway stuff, but it's really city driving, and it's very popular. That's the same in Britain now. Coming to Canada soon.
Ooh, good.
Yeah, $10,000. Less 3,000 from the BC, the electric vehicle incentive brings it down to 7,000. Mid-price, you've got the Mitsubishi Miev, 5-seater, 150 kilometer range, cost you 25,000 after the rebates. You've got the Nissan Leaf, 120 kilometer range. We've got the Smart Electric, 135 kilometer range. The Toyota, 148 kilometer range, and the Tesla. Here I put 340 kilometers, and you say in the race across.
The base. Well, the base model would do 300 to 400 model.
Yeah.
But they've got them up to, I think, 450 miles on the
Wow.
85 kilowatt model.
Yeah. So this is a 7-seater. And Elon Musk, who founded this stuff, did a video recently of the process of changing a battery change out. So not recharging a battery. So he had on a stage in front of a theater, the vehicle rolled in, and it started changing the battery, and a film running of a car going into a gas station at the same time. And in the time it took the car to recharge with gasoline, he had 2.5 electrical vehicle battery, full battery swap outs done and all. So it was twice as quick to put into a garage, take out the old battery, put a new one in, as charging up with gas. So with that model, there ain't no problem. Regular gas stations become electric battery stations. You've got a big whacking wire coming in for all the battery to power up all those batteries in the gas station, right? Yes, hands up.
Why is the Tesla more efficient?
The batteries are whack bigger.
Way bigger.
Yeah, right? It's a way bigger battery.
Yeah, they're doing, their base model is 60 kilowatts, and I drive a Nissan Leaf, it's 24 kilowatts.
Yeah.
So,
Bigger battery, more power. Yes?
How eco-sustainable are the processes that make these batteries?
The lithium batteries, lithium is fully recyclable. So is the current lead acid batteries are fully recyclable, and the current mid-range batteries, what's in the Leaf?
it's a lithium iron phosphate.
Yeah, but there's another all three types of battery are fully recyclable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no shortage of lithium, I don't think.
And they're working on a sulfur battery right now.
Well, the battery technology has got the highest number of patent lawyers wrapped around it on the planet, right? Because the company that makes the real breakthrough in the future battery has got $1 trillion written all over it. So it's very hard to know what's really happening in battery technology. There are promising reports all the time of breakthroughs. You never really know what's going to happen or not. And I read New Scientist every week and I try to track it, but I honestly don't know. But there will be battery breakthroughs, yeah.
Where is all this additional electricity going to come from?
My question.
Yeah, so when I crunched all the numbers for the whole of all vehicles in BC, if every vehicle went electric, and you needed a 15% increase in grid power only for every vehicle, including the heavy trucks. Reason being that electric vehicles are 3 times more energy efficient than a regular car. There's no friction. The energy goes a heck of a lot further. 15% is less than the average energy you can save by making your home more efficient. Average home makeover, if you really change the efficient appliances and stuff like that, will save you up to 30% of your energy costs. So you can get all the future power you need by making your homes more efficient. In addition to which, if you needed it, there's wind energy up in the Peace, north of the Peace, lining up to come into the grid. Way more wind energy than we need. Huge wind energy potential up there to give us all the energy we need without any Site C dams, without any more having to dam rivers, anything like that. Yes?
One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that the amount of electricity that's used to make gasoline, for instance, to go 100 kilometers is the same amount that it takes to actually drive 100 kilometers on an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
So
And
you've got that much electricity already used.
And we have the sun. So just before I get there, this is the Kia Pop, soon to be on the market, just to know what's coming, right? The future of electric vehicles. This is something. All vehicle manufacturers do imaginary vehicles, which they develop, they never actually produce them. So who knows if that's going to arrive or not. This is Japan. This is the Stella, made by university students in Eindhoven in Holland. Fully solar. They've extended it to get the design right.
Named after the beer.
There you go. Made by Dutch students. Family 4-seater, roadworthy, legal on the road in Holland. Weighs 380 kilograms compared to 120 for a normal electric vehicle. 400 kilometer range with no sunshine. 600 kilometers of range in the sun. Solar PV cost is $4,000 only. And for 10 months a year, it produces more energy than it uses in driving. Yes, wow. Wow. And the secret is they've done 2 things. The design allows for twice the normal, or 3 times the normal roof space coverage with solar. And they've made the weight a third of what it normally is, so it goes 3 times further because of lightweight. That's students at a technical college did that. Electric cars running on green electricity, no climate impact at all, if the electricity is solar or wind or whatever. Honda solar electric car charging station, electric fast charging from above by New Concepts. Electric trucks, these are all small, lightweight trucks from the runarounds. Even that is not a big truck, not the kind of stuff we need to talk about, but they're all on the roads right now for urban runarounds in the cities. All on the roads, you can't argue with them. Ultralight vehicle, this is a Mercedes concept car, 100% made from organic materials, 100% recyclable, 50% fuel reduction or electricity reduction in its needs. This is the world's lightest car. This actually 950 was this is old information because the Dutch car was less than that. Now look at this, solar for PV for EV. A 1.5 kilowatt panel on your roof will generate 1,500 kilowatt hours a year. An electric car that does 1,500 kilowatts for 100 kilometers, that'll get you 10,000 kilometers. Average roof will take 3 kilowatts. It'll cost you 7,500. 3.5% 25-year mortgage will cost you $37 a month, whereas gasoline will cost you $80 a month. So you can have your electric car and run it on solar right now for half the price of gasoline. Of course,
It's so expensive to buy.
they're right at the beginning of cars. Remember the breakthrough with the regular motor car? Before Henry Ford, no one could afford a car. And the Ford Revolution was make a car the worker can buy, which is the Model T, and suddenly the age of the motor car started. So all the prices of electric cars are coming down. So we'll get there. We've only been in this field for 10 years or so, right?
They're also much cheaper to operate, so you get,
Yes.
they're less expensive when you look at the whole life cycle of the vehicle.
Yeah.
That's what John Stonier told us.
Yeah.
Plus, the lifespan is extended because there's no friction.
And your servicing costs. When you take a regular car at the garage, you think it's $200, and it's, in my experience, it's always $800 by the time you got it out. Good night. There's virtually no moving parts. There's no transmission. There's no oil in an electric car. You don't have servicing costs. So you can put that $800 a year into your financing costs. So is it possible that we could have this, that half all vehicles could be fully electric by 2030? Hands up for yes. Hands up for maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And hands up for no, that ain't possible at all. Okay. So now, actually, that takes us down with electrics to, we've eliminated all use of oil.
For transport.
For transport, for light vehicles only. So the big question, can we do that 100% shift for cars and light trucks? Overall, can we do that shift? Hands up for yes. Hands up for maybe. And hands up for no, it's not possible. That's about 70-30 believe yes, we can do it, or it is possible. We need integrated governance for cycling, transit, highways and rail. They all have investments. We've got to have one body that makes the decisions. Do we put the money into cycling lanes or highways or pedestrian facilities or transit? When they're separated, it's just chaos. And Vancouver's the only place where they begin. At least they've got some integration, but that's got to happen. And then when it comes to paying for this, here's the cost of a new traffic lane for a car: $300,000 to $500,000 per kilometre. For a bike lane, regular painted one, it's up to 250 times more cost effective per trips. A bike lane, when you have to widen the road, is up to 35 times more cost effective. And a bike lane with a full separated bike lane, totally safe, is still up to 12 times more cost effective than building a new highway. And to pay for it, you can use carbon taxes, fee baits, road tolls, or a public utility charge on the hydro bill. For electric road pricing, this is my model in Victoria, where we have the Malahat Highway. Here's downtown Victoria. Very, twisty road. People always say, but if you charged 30,000 vehicles a day, a $2 one-day toll, that's $60,000 a day income. That's enough for 250 luxury coaches, serving up to 10,000 passengers a day. And because there's 250, they can go to many different resorts. And while you're on the luxury coach, you can do your email, read the paper, have an orange juice, relax. I've never got any work done while driving a car in my entire life. I got lots of work done on the bus or the plane or the train, but never while driving a car. It's fun time for speeding, but that's about it. So then we come on to the bigger questions, electrical freight. Big, difficult issue. Renault have got a concept vehicle, Renault Radiance electric. Dutch have got a concept freight vehicle. This is overhead freight. See now they're taking it off the cables, like the buses in Vancouver. It's obviously easier to do that, no battery, than to do this. These are vehicles on the road right now, but they're still urban runarounds. They're not the highway ones. So there are lots of solutions to make trucks more efficient. Taken together, you get a 60% energy saving. But if we get 60% more truck uses, we've eliminated all that benefit unless we change the technology. This is a concept that was developed by the American administration in the 1990s for goods shipping in tubes with magnetic induction tubes inside. You put the tubes in and zip them down. You know, this tube could go down the middle of a highway, so it doesn't take any land up. Vancouver to San Diego in 5 hours. That's what this is a new version to have humans traveling in it, and this is as put forward by Elon Musk, the same guy who developed the Tesla. About 2 weeks ago, we came up with this concept. This is actually traveling at 1,000 miles an hour from A to B. You know, getting across America in 3 hours, and you just have initial acceleration, then you don't notice it. So he's not going to develop this, but he says it's possible, and he says that it's only 10% of the cost of high-speed rail. So people are thinking about this sort of stuff. Shipping, again, a really big problem. It's that much global energy use. We have a small solar boats all over the place. We can have the slow boats. This is no more than 8 or 9 knots. Can be pulled by a sail. It's happening right now. There are new rigger designs for sailing boats. They're talking about, we're now talking about using biofuel really for shipping. This is a super eco ship designed for 2030 with solar panels, retractable sails, superconducting power link, LNG hydrogen fuel cells. That's still using natural gas to power the hydrogen. And I'm not a believer in natural gas. And there's all these, you can save a lot of energy with ship design, but if you save 50%, with a 50% increased demand because we buy more goods from China, we're back to scratch. We haven't achieved anything. So we're really looking at renewable fuels. Flying has the same problem. Really no easy solutions. They make claims, but nothing's happening big on flying. If we look at renewable energy, this big yellow disk is the amount of solar energy that reaches the planet that's usable every year, 23,000 terawatt hours a year. Our current use is 16 terawatt hours. So we receive 23,000 and we use 16. And by the year 2050, we'll use 26. These show tidal energy, which is geothermal energy, hydro, biomass, ocean thermal, and wind energy. So the wind energy is way bigger than the annual use. These circles show the total reserves for coal, uranium, oil, natural gas. So there ain't no problem with renewable energy. And none of it ever runs out. All of these, including uranium, run out. But the sun does not stop giving energy for actually 5 billion years. Biofuels gets more complex, which is probably we haven't got time to go into, because there's always costs with biofuels. Farm and forest waste, well, should the biofuel be back in the soil? If it's not, sewage waste, urban organic wastes, there's a lot of ways. There are 32 different methods of getting biofuel, not just cutting down crops and putting them in the tank. You can also make renewable fuel from carbon monoxide and industrial wastes, from green hydrogen. So the proposal to take the wind turbines up in the northeast of BC, where they're not connected to the grid, use the electricity from them to split water to make hydrogen. That's a fully renewable green hydrogen. And green methanol, which is a similar process. And the Rocky Mountain Institute has said, yes, there can be enough biofuel, but it's a longer discussion. Thinking out of the box, so the more we have a stronger local economy, the less we need to trade, the better it is, because we're not shipping goods in from China all the time. We went to the O'Keefe, what's it called? The O'Keefe Ranch today. You know the place? Yeah. Lovely crafts, beautiful crafts. Look at the label, made in China. They're not, and you think, no, it's not. So we've got to get back to our own local economy and our own local people. And when you invest in your local economy, only 20 out of an average $100, only $27 leaves the economy, whereas with the Walmart economy, $57 is leaving. So that money is out of the economy. But when you invest in local stores and shop in local stores, that money is staying to circulate again to the local accountant, the local advertising agency, the local lawyer, the local bank manager, and it goes back into our restaurants and whatever. So what's the secret to make it all happen? What do you think? What is the secret to make it all happen? Ta-da!
Reduce the population.
Reduce the population.
Vote in politicians that are looking into the future.
That's very fundamental. Vote in politicians.
We're
We're thinking about
stuck
this.
We're
Yes.
so stuck. We're
Yeah.
still trying to get more cars down to
Yeah.
home.
In Canada, it's not a population problem because our basic population is declining every year. We only keep it up because of immigration. None of us are breeding enough, heaven say, you know.
But look where it is.
Sorry?
But look where the population is.
Globally, yeah, that's another topic. It will stabilize around 10 billion and then start falling.
Well, I'm thinking nationally.
Nationally, yeah, it's tiny for any other country.
Concentrated.
Where it's concentrated.
Yeah. So what are we're not going to solve the problem by
That's a
suddenly solving
rhetorical
population.
question, actually.
Sorry?
That's a rhetorical question. You're going to give us the answer.
No, I think.
I have my answer, but I'm just one person.
I think we have to educate everyone so that they have the knowledge to elect the politicians that.
So educate everyone so they elect the politicians that,
To
yes.
start with yourself.
Start with ourselves.
Yeah, and then others will follow.
That's a very key thing. Role modeling, yeah, is very key. Well, yeah, yes. Other
We have
thoughts?
the time. I don't think we.
So, I know. We had one guy stood up last night in Kelowna and said, "You're Pollyanna, I'm Cassandra. We haven't got time. Climate emergency has to be. We've got to do this within 2 years." Well, I know that we can't do this within 2 years. I mean, it's ridiculous to claim we can. So, I don't. When people say, "Are you optimistic or pessimistic?" I say that's not. That's a question for observers. If you're watching the Canucks play, you think that. If you're an engaged activist, the only question is, are you determined or defeated? And I'm determined, so you keep on doing whatever you can as long as you're breathing. And you don't ask what the chances are. You just keep on doing it because you're alive, right? Other solutions for what the secret is.
I think the question of dialogue is so important.
Dialogue.
because You showed that graph around the climate change consensus and then what the media, people actually think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that gets caught up in our partisan kind of debates and discussions, so I think that dialogue is really important.
Yeah. In Vancouver, where the city has made the commitment to become the greenest city in the world by 2020, they did it by having a group of people who said, we will get city councils elected who share this vision. And they formed a platform called Vision Vancouver, and they all got elected. So now they run the council, and they control the staff, they are the government, and they're making it happen.
2030.
By 2020, no. City of Vancouver is 2020. Yeah. And they've got a clear set of goals, spelling all this stuff out, right? And they're running into the, they put every time they put a bike lane in, people are complaining, but that's, you never get rapid change without that. I think that the solution is simply community engagement, which includes exactly getting the councillors on, public education, taking action yourself. When you get people engaged in this, taking the small initiatives, organising the walkability audits, getting more local food being grown, getting the decent cycling organisation going, starting the car share co-op, getting a decent ride share program, that is what starts to make the difference. So my book is out there for $20 on the table. I've also, because Carolyn's here, and we'll go into discussion in a second, she's got her book, The 0 Mile Diet here, and her book, The 0 Mile Diet Cookbook. You get 2 for 1 because Carolyn comes with me, right? And while I'm on it, I've also brought this, I got this poster on how to end global warming, which cost me $10 and I sell it for $10 because it's really nice to have opposite the toilet when you're sitting watching. It's the best place to put it, right? So I got a bunch of them for sale as well.
Send one to Harper.
Yes. And together we do believe we can change the world. So we'd love you to become a member of the BCSCA and actually join. And this whole presentation is on SlideShare. So I've already put it up there. So if you go to slideshare.net and then type in my name, it's all there if you want it. So now let's have I got a little 5-minute wrap-up piece. Let's have a few more questions or thoughts or disagreements or whatever you want. Who thinks it's a load of rubbish? Are you any thoughts in your changing direction around all this?
Well, I got a question